A Sunday morning conversation, and this is me, Roy Masters. Every Sunday, and wherever you are, and you have a problem, you need to come. It's a lot cheaper to be here and be healed in a matter of hours or weeks than for the rest of your life with drugs. Do you have resentment? In other words, do you get upset easy?
No.
No? No. Can you explain to yourself this? Do you want to speak or you can't speak?
Can you give some background on who you're talking to for the audience?
Yes. Well, I'm talking about a gentleman in case you can't hear. And he doesn't hear it very well either and cannot speak. So there'll be little pauses. And the audience that eventually will hear this will understand that I can't push this man and I have to wait for a response. Correct?
Yes.
Say 1.
1.
Say 2.
2.
Say 3.
3.
Tell me you love me.
You can say that. You know how to say that. Say,
You can speak.
look at me.
What time is it? Say it's 15 minutes after 9.
I'm
Try it.
in.
You're having difficulty, aren't you? How is it you can say 1, 2, but not just a couple of words in a row?
It's a single
Microphone, Daddy.
a single word.
Yeah, a single word.
15 minutes after 9 is a whole sentence.
Yeah.
Can't do that yet. We're working on that.
May I suggest, though, you can talk to him that way? Yes, no, yes, no.
Oh, I do.
And but at any point, he might want to say a second one, and then a third.
Yeah.
You see, that would help. We can't do it here today.
No. He's here to listen to you and
No.
glean.
No, I'm not going to talk up to you, but I'm going to talk about you to everybody else who has the same problem or will have the same problem if they don't.
Yeah.
Yes, do this. I can't find the word. Q's and P's.
Q's. Q's and Q's.
Yes. Anybody has a question here? I'd just like to start with somebody who is here and has some trouble with whatever it is. How are you doing? You seem to be a lot happier.
I am a lot happier. I'm seeing that I still have this little imp inside of me.
Make it louder, sorry.
I'm seeing that there's still like a little imp. I don't know what else to call it.
A lone imp?
Evil. There's still a little evil.
That's an imp, all right.
And I am able to see and separate. I think a lot. I think a lot. And
What do you mean you think a lot about?
my brain, nothing. It's nothing.
Well, then why can't you... That sounds like it's good. If it's nothing,
No, it's into...
it's nonsense, you
It's
mean.
nonsense.
Yeah.
And I see it, but I think I'm still frustrated that I can't stop it.
Oh, no, the word frustrated is in your hands. In other words, when you see those thoughts, the whole idea is to stop and just watch. That's not simple. It's not difficult, is it?
I understand that, Roy.
All right. So why can't you do it?
I don't know. And I feel like I still am trying to do it myself.
That's true. You are trying to do it yourself. You don't trust God. There is a God. I have lots of experience with him.
How come I can know that? And
Well, you can know it, but you don't have to. You can't believe it. It's all gone. See, what you need to see is that you're in the way of him coming through you. If you don't have him coming through you from the realm, whatever it is that will destroy you will come from the world he's created, with all the crazy people, all the liars, everything that's wrong. You can hardly meet a person in the street that isn't completely broken. When I came to America, it was a beautiful place and beautiful people. Of course, there was a few bad people on the left and the right, and there's always that. But they weren't so violent and so openly violent and enjoying their horrors and burning buildings and things. And so what we've got is a civil war coming on still. It's not over yet. They're getting more cheeky and dangerous. They don't know how to lose graciously. Because Obama has done a good job turning Americans into foreign others, see. And but we won't go into that right now. What we're talking about is the secret of finding God. And narrow is the way, and few are those that find it. But if Jesus could have been here and lived forever here and get on radio, so I didn't have to go all over the mountains, this world would have recovered. But he left the information about it, which has got lost also. The nearest you can hear is be still and know, I am God. There must be other things that he said that are missing. And I have read the Bible, but not over and over again. When I read anything, I go click, 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 oh, I stop. I've read the book for the day, I see a point. All of a sudden it unfolds like a flower. But what I have learned, and from not just from myself, because I'm not guilty of all those things you do, I have always, since a little child, I don't see, understand it. I'm not going to struggle with it. Now, I don't say that to myself then. It just doesn't seem important. I keep saying about my son, my cousin Arnold, when he was a little bit older than me, he did something to me and gives me that knot in my stomach. And that caused me to say, how is that? A question. Good question. How is that? How does he, with his speech and the noise he makes, the emotion, I didn't know what emotion was then, but I'm adding it too, so it's clear. So how is that? Oh, well, I'll leave it alone. And that's what I've been doing ever since. If I don't know something, I just don't stop to struggle. And if I don't struggle, I grow. Something tells me not to struggle. I can't see it. I can't force myself. I can't worry that, how is this? Maybe I got cancer or something. Your mind will start to wonder and worry. You can see when you have a little pain, you get a little disturbed. When I get a pain, it tells me, do I need to go to the doctor? Okay. If I don't need to go to the doctor, okay. It's all nice and easy for me because I know when to do when and to do what. I've been through a lot of sicknesses, and to start with, to make a point, I went swimming in not Los Angeles, well, in Los Angeles, of course. I have a house on the water. I used to swim. And then there's a, what do you call it? What?
Sewage.
Sewage, yes. Just around, just down the ocean, just near the ocean. And they had a runoff, and I swallowed it. I smelt it, but swam away. But it was a parasite that got inside me that set me off for my whole life. But I'm not angry with it. I understand it. There was no signs. I was the first victim. And so one thing, I was 3 or 4 years not being able to eat only but porridge. And that caused me to have diabetes. And that went on. I didn't know I had diabetes. And you told me it was. The doctor didn't tell me. She told me. And so things went on like that. So I got from bad to worse, and better, and then bad to worse. But the whole period of time was that I had to go through all these things to see what medicine does not understand. It doesn't understand we don't need medicine. If we were pure, and I wasn't pure just that, but just becoming. I'm a becomer. You all become. You just have to, in other words, Jesus says, become perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. But you've got to read into it what it's really saying. Because you cannot be perfect, only God is perfect. Whatever perfect is, He's got everything. And He knows everything in a fraction of a second, because there's no fractions of a second, He just knows it. We don't understand such a being. There's no way to talk about it. It's magic. To us, that would be magic. I mean, Jesus was able to turn water into wine as well as wine into water. If you don't get the joke in the middle. He could do it both ways. See, so all of these, all the trials and tribulations he had, I went through the same trials and tribulations accordingly, because all of you go through trials and tribulations, all of you. There's not a person, because you come into the world and the world comes into you. But you have an advantage that Adam didn't, because he was condemned. Of course, God had to use him for this, because everything got upside down, and so then children come into the world comes into them and corrupts them, but it's not their fault. It's the parents' fault. And all parents have those faults. And all those parents screw their kids. And they don't know they're screwing their kids, because they lost the intuition to see it. And the intuition that's left behind is the anxiety. And then the anxiety has to be not understanding what I just said. As they grew and began to evolve or devolve themselves, because once you start to lose your intuition, once you start to lose it, it gets left behind. And what takes its place is what screws you. And mostly it's the parent. 95% parents, and the rest of it will carry you through this horrible world. Or people that seem to love you, seem to be kind, and seem to be giving, and then you got the bullies, and it's everywhere. And the thing is to be able to learn that none of them can understand themselves. Even the child. I mean, you have a family, and when you have the family, you have 5 or 6 kids, say. Maybe one of them holds on to intuition and can't help but see all the things that are going wrong. But at the same time, they don't have the strength to overcome it, so they get overcome, and therefore they become a sinner, but not really. Not really. To hell with all those who don't want to see it, and to heaven to those who eventually realize that materiality, drugs, alcohol, but that is only making them worse. It makes them feel better, but they actually get worse. And what makes them feel better is addictive. Whether it's food or anything, especially with food, is the worst what's the word I'm looking for? Drug. It's the worst drug. It's an absolute killer. And we will talk about that if you want to. But where we're going with here is if you can just nod your head when I ask a question or say yes or no. Do you get angry with yourself?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Yes, that's the only question. Do you get irritated?
No.
Do you resent your wife?
Yeah.
Are you jealous of anything?
No.
You should get better.
He loves you. He's wanted to come here.
Yeah. May I suggest this? What you have happened to you can be repaired. And the only thing you have to do is be patient with it. I mean, do you understand patience?
Yes. Yes.
So if you have a pain, do you have any pain?
No.
No pain.
Oh, I mean.
Oh, that's good.
I'm going to add to that, he has constant pain all the time. He has constant pain all the time.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Where is the pain in it? Where is the pain?
Right
All
side.
down one side, one
Right
side.
side.
And are you really not getting upset with it? Because I have pain day and night, and it's going on forever and may never go away. But the ability to experience I have to use the word ability again, to be able to not hate your suffering. Jesus, I just want to make a point because he did it. Everything that happened to him, you need to understand what was going on. Can you imagine yourself being tortured, having nails in the hands and the feet and the degrading and the whipping? Do you think he was able to do some hypnosis and not feel any pain? No, he needed the pain and didn't hate the pain, and he didn't hate the hurter who gave him pain. That is your cure. And you know that you came into the world, when you came into the world, and you came into a bad world, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you do have intuition, correct?
Oh, yes.
Oh, of course. Now, I'm going to speak to that intuition.
Okay.
Am I correct in saying it's that you have an intuition when you were born?
Yeah.
And you could see all around you as you got a little bit older, very small still, and you can see everybody for what they were.
Yes.
If you had brothers and sisters, you can see that they hated you, correct?
Yeah.
You were better than them. You know, because when a person is noble, the more noble you become, the more you shine. The more you shine, not just in your head, but your whole being shines. And it has an energy field that disturbs wicked people, and they hate you for it because it feels painful. And they hate the pain, and they hate you for giving me the pain, but you're not giving them the pain. You're giving them life. And if you could just do that, be gracious in your head. Is there anybody in your life that has done you great harm and you hold anger towards them?
No.
Have you forgiven everybody? Have you let it go?
Yeah.
Meaning, it's all gone. Mother?
Linda?
Patty?
The woman he was married to for 40 years, 30 years. Sorry. The woman he was married to for 30 years was a alcoholic and drugs. He had a tremendous amount of resentment for her.
All right, let me ask you a question. When you married her, did she have drugs and alcohol?
No.
What drove her to alcohol and drugs? Was it you?
No.
Were you weak
No.
or were you strong?
Yeah.
You were strong and you put her in a place?
Yeah.
You know, how did you put her in a place? Did you get angry with her? Did you get angry when you put her in a place, or did you just put her in a place calmly? And she did not respond to that. So what was the reason why you divorced her?
She died,
Or she died?
needing a 5-organ transplant.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
That's an interesting...
When he met her, you know, he went with her. She was into some drugs, wasn't she, John?
No.
But can I suggest that she couldn't get to you? In other words, she was tempting you. Did she tempt you? Did you try to get control of you? Did she upset you and intimidate you to love her or take advantage of your graciousness?
Huh.
You don't know.
No.
But you got angry enough.
When he left me, he went with her. He told me,
Go ahead.
I need to help her. That was his motive. He wanted.
That doesn't make sense.
I know, but that's what he had told me. He wanted to help this girl.
But you can help her by being married to her. It doesn't make any sense. There's something more here.
I think what it was the female in her did her thing. That's what attracted him.
In other words, she was pretty and it's seductive. So it wasn't to help himself to her. It's only that.
You know, I know how women work. You know.
Yeah, but what did you say when it? Because you speak of it as though it's normal.
No, I know.
That's how you speak of
see,
it.
when I knew that she was doing her female thing that a lot of women do.
Yeah.
You know, to get a
Well,
man.
then he's got a weakness. He didn't marry her because he wanted to help her. He needed some more sex.
Do you think?
It's obvious. You can't you're not going to, you're not Jesus Christ wanting to help me. You're doing it for a reason. You got what you deserve. That's what you got. Now, can you get that? Can you get it? You put yourself in that condition. You didn't love that lady that you should have loved. This is a wonderful lady. I've fired her 3 times. I still love her. She's good and means well. Why did you then? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. And you can say yes or no. Was it sex? Well, what was it? What could you get from that? And who are you? Jesus, so you can fix her? And breaking the law of God and death to show you apart. She didn't die. Then you could have got married again if you want to. She still lives.
He told me that he suffered for 30 years with her.
Serves him right.
And then she needed a 5-organ transplant and died.
And that also serves her right.
Yeah.
Now, what can you own up to? The way we started off, he was an angel. You've done a lot of harm. And you're getting payback. Every time you do something a little bit wrong, and another little bit wrong, and another little bit wrong, and it comes to a big wrong. And you look for an answer in the world, in a worldly way, and that was that woman. A naughty boy. You got what you deserve. Now, if you can understand that, maybe I can help you. Because you have lost your memory, and you don't lose memory except you have situations I have. I've lost lots of memory. But not that I can't speak anymore. Especially understanding and to help someone to understand themselves. I want to just explain to you something very simple, that finding God is so simple. There's nothing to it. I always say this: if you can do nothing right, you can do nothing wrong. Now here is how I really mean, what I mean by that, is all in the words. And you can look at the words and think of it stupid. If you do nothing right, you do nothing wrong. It's all, listen, my teacher can...
Doing.
Huh?
It's in the doing. It's the kind of doing you're doing.
Well, I just was, yes, you're right. But our teacher said it just depends on where you put the comma.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I think it was like this. And Caesar entered, oh, I wish I could remember, it was so funny. And Caesar entered, oh, I haven't called up that one for a long time. But what it was, Caesar entered, on his head was a helmet. That's it. And if you put a comma, it says Caesar, comma, on a helmet.
Entered on his head.
What was it?
Was a helmet.
Well, say it again.
Caesar entered the room. The sentence is Caesar entered the room with a helmet on his head.
Yeah.
And then you could say Caesar entered. Am I saying it wrong?
Then it goes funny. But
It goes, yeah, but
now
it's,
we lost the funniness.
1 minute it's the helmets that's doing it instead of Caesar, you know.
When you get it right, it's funny.
But it's funny, but what you're saying about the doing is so important, because everybody says, I do this, without realizing that the way they do is the wrong energy. If you can do no good, which is to say with will, then you can do no wrong, because God wants you to let your will
Well,
go.
you're coming back to my little story. If you do nothing right, you do nothing wrong.
Yes.
And so I now explain it. If you did nothing, that's right. Basically, I had an extra little word there. If you do nothing right, you won't do anything wrong. But that applies to a whole way of seeing that you don't have to do anything to help God to save you. That's the mistake. That is a deadly mistake. Yes.
And in I don't even know the word to say, but in what you're talking about, what I'm discovering more deeply about myself, and
Yes.
I had a friend who listens and loves you look at me the other day,
Yeah.
and she looks at me and she goes, I get it. When we're little and our parents do their number, there's that thing in us, that part of us that doesn't think we're good enough.
But where does that come from? It didn't come from God.
No, obviously, but that part
You were
about
innocent
not,
when you were born.
but
You're
in,
innocent.
In line with what you're talking about, there's that part that's always striving and struggling
And
because of this suggestion or whatever.
well,
the
that
right-
comes back to her.
Yeah, it's the,
No,
I
I'm
have
talking
the same,
to
same.
the lady in the front here.
I have the same, but I am seeing little by little, it relate, that same part.
Well, let me just give you an
Can I don't know if I'm making sense.
Let me just give you a point.
Sorry.
Somebody's rude to you. Okay? So if you do nothing,
Yeah.
just the rudeness, if you do nothing right, you won't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And when you do nothing wrong, you're doing right. It comes back to that.
Yeah.
See? And the person who's trying to upset you gets upset because he can't upset you. And the reason why he can't upset you, because he can see a light coming out of you because you haven't judged him. You put an extra word in there to make the point. If you do nothing right, do nothing right. Don't help God to be God. Don't allow people to, I mean, you can't stop them from being mean to you, but if you do nothing right, nothing means no thing at all. Nothing, not even a feeling of emotion. Nothing. Just look. And no fear. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But see, deep down inside, you want to come back. You got a judgment. And nearly everybody has a judgment. And then you read in the scriptures, judgment is mine, saith the Lord. I pay back. You leave all this to me. I'm adding a few words to it. What are you crying for? Is something true? Swallow the mic.
So what I'm seeing right now is I'm supposed to be good. I'm supposed to be a good girl. So I thought I didn't resent my husband anymore so much because I'm not supposed to resent him. So that thing that's inside of me,
I'm losing you.
I know, and I'm going to get it to you. There was a little bit of a trick that made me think that I wasn't resenting my husband like I'm getting well.
What?
It was tricking me. Something was tricking me to
Well, if
think
you know
that I
it's-
wasn't.
If you know it's tricking you,
But that's what I'm
why
seeing.
respond to it?
Well, that's what I'm just seeing in this moment was that
Well, this is basic stuff. Very, very point, right to the point where you go from hell to heaven, from evil to good. It's a place where one meets the other, and you can go this way, or you can go this way, and depending on your inclination. I do not understand the inclination that people don't want to be good, because there's a certain something about people. I do not understand it, but they love to want to continue to be glorious. They want always to be right, never wrong, and you have to be wrong. You can see now in America, what's happening is they're blaming Obama, Donald Trump. They hate him. They hate him because he shows them up for what they are. And he exists in a almost pure way. There may be just little things here, but what I see in that man is spiritual strength. And it's radiating. And it's radiating in such a way that it's painful for all the people who've been tricked by Obama and life itself. It's a terrible pain. And it's a terrible anxiety.
that's why you don't understand it, because you don't have that second self inside of you. And what I'm seeing is that it's that second self that's so clever to...
It's not clever.
Well...
It's not clever.
It's not really clever. God can see it.
It's up to you. It's not up to God. It's up to you to make the choice. Do you want to believe that crap?
No.
Well, then why believe it?
But that's what I'm...
No, just look at it. And when I'm coming to it, because it's so simple, so now you know that this is the problem. But now the question is, are you going to fight it? Are you going to struggle with it? Yeah? Did you? But he didn't.
Oh, I'm
he
sorry.
didn't. No. When you see that, when you are coming, longing and coming, and you see that side of yourself, all you need to do is see it. And say, you don't have to say, but I'll say it. I'll say something. Is that easy? You mean to say that's easy? I see him tricking me? That's all I need. Because the ability to see is a gift. You have intuition. You still haven't lost it. You'll come back to it. And you're coming back to it. And I'm trying to help you coming back to it and see that you are, because you can see what you couldn't see before. Just look at it. Oh, I can look at a person with a gun at me. Oh, so what? I say to you that so many people die and suffer every day, millions, because they do not understand that. To see something wrong with yourself, it's easy to see something wrong with somebody else, but to see something wrong with yourself is painful. But the point is, you can see that you're wrong. And you see that there's something wrong, and you can see that something is deceiving you. And you don't have to know what it is, because you've got lots of thoughts in your head and memories and videos in your head. And you live with them. You play with them. You get caught up with them. But all you need to do is that meditation. The beautiful thing of the meditation is you don't need all the language, which becomes a lecture after a while, and valuable if you go with it. That's be still a no. But if you'd have the 7-minute meditation, it has nothing in there at all, except look at your eyelids, be aware of your hands, and what you're doing, and I won't go into great detail, is separating from the soul, your spirit. When you do this, you close your eyes and look at the little pixels moving across the screen of the mind, and won't forget this, thoughts come up, and you can look at the thought. In the look at your thought, you can see the darkness, and you can see the lie. That's what we call it, we see it. And what do you do when you see the lie? The deceit. You just look at it. Oh, that's who you are. But you don't have to say it. It has no sound to it. It's all there. Oh, that scares the heebie-jeebies out of it. That's all. When you see it's wrong, how could you do that wrong? If you can see it's wrong, then you're seeing something that you shouldn't trust. But that's what's caused you to doubt, because it took you over as a child.
And
you
made it
didn't
judge.
have that skill. You lost the skill.
Because when you...
But you're coming back to it.
No, I am. I'm just saying that when I start to see something, then I judge it. And so that's where, like you said, the two roads would meet, where I need to go down this road, and the judgment is stopping that, my foot to go forward. And
I don't understand.
Well, when you just said that you have a choice.
Why can't it be simple? Why can't something be so simple as to do nothing and just look? You've got a funny face. It's difficult, you've got a funny face, that's all. He doesn't really, but yeah, you do. But he takes a joke. It isn't a joke. You make fun out of life. Where were we now? Sorry.
Why can't it be so simple?
Yes. Yeah. Our young lady back there. I'm trying to make it simple. It's hard to make it simple.
I have a question, and it's a little bit weird, but so the other day I kind of got a look at something that lives in me, and I don't think I've ever thought it was me, but I feel like I'm responsible.
Well, anything that's rotten is not you.
But
anything that's rotten is coming from another self within you. Unless it's coming from the outside that moment. And but once you understand what's inside you that's not outside you ready to come in, if you can just deal with that, never mind the future for right now, what you got, which you carry with you all the time, is disgusting, basically. And so when you see a little piece of it, like resentment or judgment, especially the judgment, because judgment is his. And that's the worst thing you could do, resentment and judgment.
Okay, but I see these like mass shootings, and I see, these people that have become murderers, and I feel like
They become what?
Murderers.
Yeah, but we're not talking about murderers yet, are we?
Yeah, we are, because I feel like I have one of those things in me.
In other words, you want to murder somebody? Or you think of it? Most people do have murder in their hearts.
When I was growing up, I was always afraid that I would end up killing my father. Because he shocked me so much when I found out he was molesting my sister And he told me, he said to my sister that I would have to learn. And ever since then, I've had that in me, and I've been so, I don't feel like it's me, but I feel like I'm responsible if I let it loose on the world somehow.
Yeah. May I suggest that if you can't do something about it, how old were you when you saw that, when you had
10.
that? 10 years old. What can a 10-year-old do? Nothing. You can't be.
No, I knew that I had to outsmart my father.
What was that?
I had to outsmart my father so that he'd never put me in a situation where.
How do you mean outsmart?
I went all the way through high school, only taking a shower and washing my hair once a
But
week.
what is the problem, though? And I hear the story, but what is tormenting you now? What about that? I haven't seen it yet.
I feel like there's still something living in me from that, and that
There's
if
something living in you.
And if,
so you've taken the identity of your father. So you are just as bad as he is, except you don't deserve because you couldn't understand this as a child.
and I'm afraid it will kill people.
You have redemption waiting for you, but your father may not have it. Your father also may one day.
He was abused by his parents very badly.
What was that?
I know my father was abused by his parents very badly.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So now, you're both in the same boat.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh. So you know your father was done like that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so you hate him for it when he couldn't help it. And so he extended it on you and he couldn't stop it.
Absolutely.
And you can't stop it, but you're suppressing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to kill you.
Right.
You got it all wrong. All you need, now here it is. I know enough about Scripture, just enough to make some points. Honor your mother and father. And so the days may be long, the Lord thy God giveth thee, and it goes on to something very, very nice. It has something to do, and it goes into the generations, and then one of the generations eventually becomes a valuable person and healthy. But I wish I had it, because I'm losing my memory of all that stuff. But I do understand the principle involved. Honor your mother and father. Then people will say, honor my mother and father? My God, what did they do? But once I start getting, see, you're a decent person. You're holding all this and not wanting to be like those people. See, you don't want it, but you still have it. And you still judge it. But the point is, if your father was a target like that, and he was molested, it would be difficult for him not to molest somebody or something, or bury it, and bury it. It keeps coming up, and it keeps coming up because intuitiveness requires that, and you have intuition, but you don't know you still have it. It's there. It'll always be there to the day you die. And you can wait to the thief on the cross, and he was about to die. But the other one, there's the bad one, the bad thief, he mocked Jesus. That is the kind of person who's horrible. They will go to hell. But the other one on the other side had never found it. But he sees Jesus, and he says, but we deserve it. We deserve what we've done. That's important. When you see you deserve that, when you see what your father is and couldn't help him, and you're standing in his shoes, you're standing in his shoes. You got the same impulse, suppressing it. And that suppressing is causing you to save yourself. You're suppressing it so it doesn't come to the light. But the more you suppress it, the more emotion you apply to it. So you're doing yourself in.
Okay, I understand that.
Huh?
I've always had this thought that if I don't suppress it, then it gets to have free reign through me.
No,
but you're
just
saying
no.
that's not true at all.
If you understood, if you really understood that you couldn't understand it as a kid, well, you couldn't, but you're not a kid anymore. You have power. Mm-hmm. You're a fully blown woman. Mm-hmm. I don't like to say the blown part. She's a little bit blown. Yeah, I just make it a little light, make it light here. Do you understand? Of yourself, you can do nothing. Even Jesus himself said that. Of myself, I do nothing. The Spirit in me, God in me, he doth it. See that? Why call me good? No one is good. He says that, word for word.
Okay, I understand that.
So you can't have the good, but you have to know that you can see something's wrong. Can you see that you're standing in your father's shoes and you're no different from him except you have a nice appearance? And you don't do it won't do it to anybody else. It's your secret. Mm-hmm. And now the secret is out. And now and how do you deal with it? Oh, I've been pushing it down. I've been angry with myself. But angry with yourself is not a good idea. You're still subject to it. And the more you're angry with yourself, the more likely and the fear will come that you might do it in your sleep. You might fall into a sleep and end up killing people. Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought of that?
Not the going to sleep part, but just losing my temper.
Yeah. But you're still going to kill yourself by suppressing it and not letting it go.
I understand that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Naughty, naughty. It's not that difficult. Okay. If you do nothing about it.
If you trust God enough to deal with it, so you don't have.
You don't want to trust God. I think there's too many words. I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But it can't come in words. You just see. Oh, my dad, wow, I've got what he's got. He's infected me. But that's not, you're not going to talk to yourself out loud. It's all just in a kind of word world, but no words. It's just, I see that, but you don't say it. You just see it. You don't want to add any words to it. You just see it. And all of a sudden it goes like that. God doesn't need your help to make you better. Not one little tiny piece. Suppressing it, all right, for a little while, when you didn't know any better, but you know better now, and you better behave yourself. Because you'll go crazy after this. You could go crazy if you do nothing. Just see it.
Okay.
All I need to see is a person who's, so now I continue my life from there. He holds a gun on me. Guess what? He can't shoot it. He's a bully. I can remember a story. And the person who is in this story, I can't tell you who it is. It's a famous person. One of the I can't find the word now, and it's ridiculous. I have that problem. On the radio, on our radio station when it was running. But he has a story of him coming out of in.
Oh, Las Vegas. Is that the Las Vegas story?
It's a Las Vegas story. Yes, comes out. He drinks, and when he comes out with his friend, a guy jumps in and he's got a gun. He says, "Give me what you got." He says, "Not tonight." He says, give it. Give me your gun. I mean, give me your money." "Not tonight." He says, "Give me your gun. Give me your money. Give me your gun. Give me your money." He says, "Not tonight." Just like that. So he turns to the other fellow. He says, "Give me your money. Give me your wallet." And he gave it to him. And the man went away. He says, "Why didn't you give it to him?" He says, "No, you did. You gave it to him. I didn't have to give it to him." He got it right. No, it would be that when you are faced by temptation and cruelty and murder, when you're faced with dangerous things, 95% of that, if you could just not react, meaning, I'm talking to you right now, and that's how I'd be with him then. But what happens is that because nothing can make you angry, you've been forgiven. You have found redemption. And the redemption means you can do to others what was done to you, but in a good way. See, doing unto others as you would have them do unto you comes into play. But nothing cruel has any power over you at all. And generally speaking, except when you're doing with the government, they put you in jail, but still, it still goes on. I've been in jail for 30 days, and they gave me 10 days off for good behavior. They couldn't handle me anymore. I mean, it was practicing medicine without a license, but it really wasn't true, but I didn't know. In those days, I didn't have a good lawyer and things like that. But I'm still doing it on the radio. Everything I went to jail for that, and I was taking care. So when I came into, I'm going away from what I'm talking about, and I come back again. Remind me if I don't come back to the right thing. That is many, many years ago. The medical people were absolutely livid because I was curing people, and they were lining up. See, I was doing in minutes what they couldn't do in years. I still couldn't do that. It's difficult with you because I can see people, hundreds of thousands, getting it. They don't come to the source, come here, but they don't need to. Many people can grasp it so quickly that next morning is better. The quicker, the more longing. And the longing is too short with you, see. But what happened is I came into the hall where all the bad guys are. And what happened is, as I walked in, it was like the parting of the Red Seas. The bad guys were all over here, and the better guys over here. And they dragged me into a place where I was able to talk to them. And to make a long story short, the newspaper says, hypnotists practice spells in cells. I was curing those men, curing them of their illnesses like that, because they really wanted to be, didn't want to be this way. The others didn't. Then the chief cook and bottle washer, what do they call him? Warden. He says, Roy, this is all political. Why don't you, do this? I said, I'm going to keep doing it because that's my right to do it. So he gave me 10 days off for good behavior. He got rid of me. But the point is, he put me in solitary confinement. That's it, for a few days. Yes, but it was cut short pretty quick because the inmates gave me chicken every day. It's so beautiful. I've got another thing, it may happen again soon, who knows. But whatever it is, every bad, grasp it. You listen to what he says. Every bad happens for good. If you don't have anything bad, your whole life you're spoiled rotten. You need the evil around you. It always will be that way. Whether it's big evil or small evil, you will likely survive where no one else does. I give a story. I made it up. A girl, beautiful girl with long hair, combing her hair before she goes to bed, looking in the mirror. All of a sudden, the window crashes open, and a killer comes in. Where's your money? Oh, hello. Would you like a cup of tea? It is, if that was real, it would be a huge shock. It stops. I remember another story. And it was given to me, I think, by the person himself. I can't remember. He was what's the big country next to China?
Japan.
Japan. I always forget Japan. He was a soldier, American soldier, and they moved him over there. And so they're moving him into that compound in the cold and all the rest of it. And he's walking with hands in his pocket, and the big cheese, says, "Why are you keeping your hands in your pocket?" He says, "They're cold, sir." But the way he answers the question, he didn't react to him. And he said it again. He says, "I just wanted to keep my hands warm. That's all." But it was the timbre of his voice. There was something in the voice. And the commander was ashamed and let him go. But he said, "I can cut your head off." I forgot to put that in. It didn't bother him. But because it didn't bother him, he has respect or have found some difficulty to do it. You actually commit suicide when you get upset about anything. And if you can be upset for the little things, how much more will you be upset with the big things and give them what they want, your life? But if you don't give you your life, he gives you what his is, and it melts. It literally melts and backfires on him. He gets upset. But when he gets upset, he gets what's coming out of you. And that torments him more. And if he torments you more, calmer you get. Now here is the explanation in another piece of information in the Bible. Everything bad everything bad happens for good, for those that love the Lord. That is a complete thought. Everything bad, no matter what it is, it doesn't touch you. That is impossible by ordinary people. But you're extraordinary people. And they have to get, when you have an experience with a bully, they have to do two things. Watch it. Watch it in the movies. Watch it in your own life. They have to do one: insult you, accuse you of what you're not, accuse others what you are. And they can do that en masse with the left wing here. Everyone that's accusing of Donald Trump, putting a curse on him and accusing him of what they are. That is, yeah, it's not old. I can't remember the person who spouted that.
Karl Marx.
Karl Marx, yes. It works. You react, and you catch on, and you relieve him of his guilt, and have power over you. However, if that doesn't happen, stage one, he insults you, and you don't react. He wants to lift a fist to hit you, and you don't flinch. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't even start. And then he becomes your friend. Ah, well, I don't mean that. It comes away like that. So that if you understand the beauty of changing sides, learning to sit and meditate, so that you don't help God when you're sitting there doing the 7-minute meditation. All you need to do is disconnect your soul from your monkey brain. Your brain is not much different from a monkey brain, and if you had a monkey brain and you still had it in your head, you'll still have redemption, because the brain is the same. Yeah, but it's not sufficient as to get to hold what we, as human beings, have language. The monkey goes, and that's it. It lives and dies. It doesn't know it exists, but you have an awareness. You know you exist, and you also know you exist when you're not existing properly. And the evidence that you're not living properly is because you're afraid to stand up for yourself. And you don't always have to stand up, but you always have to not be upset, because some of the times you just sit and wait till he goes away. Simple. Or answer him, whatever it comes to your mind. You never know what it is. But it's the key. You radiate it. Your physical body radiates it, but you don't see it. There's a light coming out of you, and you can't see the light. But the other person feels the expression of it just like you feel his wickedness. How he reacts causes you to have anxiety, and like my experience with my cousin Arnold. He spoke to me in a harsh way, cruel, and it felt like a stone. That's the same thing. And ever since then, without realizing what the future of it was, I'm still doing it. You want to screw with my head? Go ahead and try. That's it. You suffer. Not only do you suffer, but you are likely 10% die from it. Just playing with the likes of me and you when it's you. When I look back I hate to say this, I'm not proud of it, but all the people that were cruel to me, no matter how old or young, who betrayed me, are all dead, about 100. Every one of them younger than me. And by looking back on that, all of a sudden, say, oh my God. In other words, you infect them with goodness, and if they hate it, they've hated God. Bang. Revenge is mine, saith the Lord. That is why they die. Not because of me, because He takes revenge on them. And He gives me strength for it. So every little cruelty, if you do it right, every little cruelty and dealing with it correctly makes you stronger. Everything bad happens for good. And if you don't have the bad, you can't have the good. Correct? Otherwise you'd be, I don't know what you'd be. You'd just be nothing. Just eat and drink and then die. I like a good fight. I'm looking forward to the next fight, which is coming to me soon. There's no fear here. If I go to jail, a lot of people get better. That's all. How do you feel? Did you grasp that? Everything bad happens for good. Allow it to happen. You can't stop it anyway. Have a good attitude towards it.
That part of life, I believe, because I can see that without the incredible pain that I felt in my life, I would never have come to where I am right now.
You're doing good. You're doing better.
Things are better.
You're a good basket case.
I am. And what I'm seeing as I'm sitting here is that I've tried to overcome.
Oh, the word I try. Oh.
I know, but I just want to get this out.
I have to take myself in. Oh, I almost judge you.
So I try and overcome a situation.
You can't.
No, I see that. Instead of releasing myself to God for everything.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with, I shouldn't resent my husband. I wish I didn't overeat. Instead of,
no, you don't. Take the wish out. Take the wish out.
Well, I see that in this moment, and that's why I love to come here, because my brain just it just shuts off, and I just get to hear truth, and I get to see the truth, and then when I go back to my life, my life overcomes me a little.
Why can't you say to your husband, I have an apology to make? Your husband isn't perfect, I'm quite sure. Correct? All right. You smile. You got it.
I'm smiling now because I thought I didn't resent him. And I do. And part of that is I don't want to have to, and then I can feel his attitude popping up.
Here's what you do. Here's what you do. Now, I'm not going to tell you when to do it.
Right.
But when you consider what we discussed this morning, I can't tell you the time or the day, nor will you. I don't want you to plan it. Just let it go to your heart and see that that's correct. Now, I'll say what is correct, how I would do it if I had your problems. I can actually sense it, and I know how it works, so I can actually think about and understand it to explain it, make a story. So all of a sudden, when you go home, it may be tomorrow, it may be a month from now, but without realizing, what is just about to happen, you find yourself saying to your husband, I have something I've done wrong to you, husband. He says, what? Well, it's been a long time. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but just for the story. I have done you wrong. And he said, what did you do? He says, well, I hated you, you see. And that's all I want to say, but you deserve it. Add that to it. I resented you, and you deserved it, but I got hurt myself. I shouldn't have resented you. I should have forgiven you to realize that you really didn't know what you were doing. Something like that. And you say it in calmness. And he blows up. And that's exactly what he needs to do. And he may drop dead from it. Too bad. You're not in charge of what outcome is.
I don't believe he would drop dead.
No, I'm just adding it to I'm making it strong. Yeah. Let me finish it. And you're still calm. And he's angry with you. Because first of all, you played a little trick. I'm sorry, but I did some harm to you. Oh, did you? Yes, I hated you for doing all these things. I shouldn't have hated you. I should have let it go. I'm sorry about that, but you did wrong. And I did wrong, but I'm doing it right now. Something like that. It has to be, I can't give it to you exactly. And whatever he does, he will either divorce you, hate you, or that lady has balls. I mean that. He may like that. But the point is, you have a mother like that, for example, she may hate you forever and slowly but surely die. That's what she deserves. But she could also live because no one ever talked to her that way. No one had the courage to talk to her that way. No one had, when I say had the courage, because they're all angry still. And they don't know what I'm talking to you about. But you can have that calm points by realizing you're standing in your mother's shoes. And she can't help it. And it's time for you to see yourself and talk to your mother, your husband, whoever it is, but wait for it. You don't plan the time and the moment.
I wasn't ever able to do it because I could see that he deserved that wrath.
Go ahead. You're learning something out of this, aren't you? Good.
I wasn't able to be sorry because the pain I felt as though he deserved. He deserved.
Oh, you're judging.
Yeah.
Oh, you're judging. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. You actually came out with it. And then you say to him, I did something wrong to you, I judged you. Add that into your speech. Add it in there. I did what you did. I did what you did. I have the same sickness. I shouldn't have done it. I'm guilty.
It's hard to let this go.
Yeah. But that's what frees you.
I know.
That's what frees you. You come back at you and you stay calm.
For very many years, Roy, the pain that I felt like he inflicted on me, right now, like I just want to cuss and I just want to be like revengeful. He deserved it.
There is no such thing as revenge except you die from it.
I see that in this moment. I'm just trying to express what's happening inside of me, is that I didn't I didn't want to forgive him. And in this moment,
No, you're not
sorry.
forgiving him. In this case, you're not forgiving him, you're just admitting your fault. You should have,
Yes,
because
yes.
your fault is you never stood up to him.
correct.
So that's your fault.
Correct.
And you should judge him instead.
Pardon?
You judged him instead.
Yes.
Well, choose it now. Choose this one. Go to him and say, I should have said something to you a long time ago.
Yes.
But I was scared. I'm not scared anymore, thank you. It has to be with that strength.
Why was I scared?
Well, you can say anything you want.
Because I don't see that. I don't see the scared part. I just only see that.
What did I say? Because I already forgot it.
You said to tell him I was scared, maybe to speak up.
Well, see, I should have spoken up to you before. But I didn't have the strength before.
I didn't want to.
I didn't have it. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
That's good enough. One way or the other.
Yeah.
Come on now. Come on now. Drop it. Drop it. I'll still drink
There's some
anyway.
holy water you can sprinkle too.
Are you water on there?
Huh? I was making a joke because you spilled it.
I know.
Sprinkle holy water.
You can keep shivering till I finish this.
Okay.
This is very informal.
I think the part that I can see so much now is that before, when I would shiver, it had such a control because I gave it power. And this time, I'm sorry. It's not an evil, like a hold on evil. I'm just sorry because I can see too his pain. And all I would allow myself to see was what it did to me and to play along with that. And I don't want to do that now. I don't want to be a part of
You want to be a real
his
person,
pain.
don't you?
Yes.
It's not hard.
No, it's not hard.
There's nothing to it.
No, it's
You
just
do
seeing
nothing.
it. It's so, like you said, it's so simple, but if you don't see it, well, you don't see it. You know, you would say, why can't you see that, Brenda? And I didn't know why.
Well, why can't you calm down now?
I can.
Calm down.
I am.
Calm. 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 Calm now. Calm all that. Let go. Let it go. The dark side doesn't like me, but you do. You do what Roy says, and God gives Roy what to say. And you receive it. See? Anxiety goes away. There's no need for anxiety. You're coming to the Creator. You're on your way. All you have to do is nothing. If you do nothing right, you do nothing wrong. Do nothing right first. Nothing. Nothing towards anybody. Nothing. They're all extensions of their parents and the parents' parents.
There's just
they're not aware of what they're doing.
There's a small amount of resistance, but it's not like it was. There's still a small amount of resistance, but it's okay because I don't feel anymore, I don't think, that you're the only power. I had to come here for a long time for you to help me because I didn't have the I didn't have the faith. I'm not sure I have it yet.
Well, you don't need the faith. Your faith will come. See this? What does it do to you? There's a dark side inside you And that's afraid. See, this cross is only a piece of wood, but it reminds the hell in you that he's been defeated. See? It's defeated. If you see this cross, it's the evidence that you have no more power. If you just understand this, this is a hypnotic thing to it. This is a counter-hypnotic thing. I have Wendy here, and she had a wicked mother. But what she didn't know, there was a trigger that kept her going crazy for years and years. And one day, she comes to my house often. We had some business together. Anyway, I said, what did I say? What?
Take care.
Take care. That's a trigger. Because the mother that demoralized her horribly, when she was finished, she'd said something sweet. See, that made it worse. Take care. And the word take care, she had forgotten. But when anybody said take care, that was a trigger for her to go crazy and do crazy things. But when I said it, my voice is different from other voices. It's not the same place. So when I said to her accidentally, as I normally do, take care, wham, she got it. She got it completely. And now she's doing wonderful, getting better and better. But just the words. What's the words again?
Take care.
Take care, that's right. That was the trigger. This is a hypnotic trigger. It's hypnotic to the devil. See, just like take care triggered the behavior. This has the same effect. It's a hypnotic system which affects everybody on earth that's ready. That's why it works. I found the key, a cross. I don't have a Jewish equivalent Star of David. It won't work. It's got to be this. I own you. I own you, devil. And you fall into pieces into your hell. Fall away from her down, where there's no sunshine, no light. Go back to where you were. Go back. You don't have to come out this way. You go back the way you came in from your parents, and your parents' parents, and parents' parents, all the way back to Paradise Lost. He represents salvation. He was created to teach you to forgive, but not to forgive because you're forgiving, because God is forgiving, not you. Revenge is mine. Judgment is mine, saith the Lord. I will pay back. Everything will change for you. Got it?
It's so freeing because I've worked really hard at doing those things and paying him back and paying people back. And it's a very freeing knowing in this moment. And like you said, it can only come when it comes.
You seem a lot better today. You should know the truth, and the truth makes you free. Practice the truth. Practice what the truth is given to you without words. I do not know what I'm going to say. I go on the radio, I do not know what I'm going to say. I was going to think of saying about this, but all of a sudden, I find myself talking about that, something else. And before you know it, the hour's over. And I'm back like an nincompoop again. On top of old Baldy. Hello. How you doing? Did you understand all that?
Yeah.
Can you let go of some of that? Can you feel the pain? Now you got pain,
Yeah.
don't you?
Well, right now I don't feel, it's not so bad right now.
What?
I don't hurt so bad right now.
I know, but when you feel pain, don't be angry with the pain.
Yeah.
When you feel pain, do not get upset with it or try to fix it. Just watch it. It doesn't matter how excruciating it is.
Well, it's not.
And it can be unbelievably excruciating. Yes, right word?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it can be that way. But don't resent it. Don't resent what causes it, be it a person or anything.
Yeah.
Because if you do that and not hate yourself or the hurter, you have passed your ordinary life and begun to have eternal life.
Yeah.
Everything happens, even to you, for what's good.
Yeah.
I am almost 90 years old. I have misery and suffering, but you never, God bless you. God bless you again. If you dare to get another one, I'll hit you on the head.
I was going to say, they say that's a deer when it's leaving.
All right.
Anybody want this?
You,
You had been saying, you know, talking about nothing. And so for the last...
make it soft, louder.
So the last 7 months, I've been meditating, you know, very consistently.
Yeah.
And about 3 months into that, I realized that all of the relationships that I have, which are not many, were just sort of this superficial, codependent kind of relationship. They had no meaning, really. And when I came to that understanding, I was just gripped with fear and dread that, you know, that I was like untethered from anybody in the world. I was just completely out there. And for a couple of days, I was thinking, I'm going to have to go to a mental hospital because I feel like I have no connection. And then a sense of really calm came over me, and I realized that it's like you said, if you just get out of the way and let God's love flow through you, you know, which I have a lot of layers to peel back.
Yeah, but there's no effort in anything.
No.
If I say to you, can you take insults? Can you take pain? And actually, well, in the pain, whatever pain is, and the insults are not painful, but they become painful if you don't look at it the same way. The meditation exercise called the 7-minute one is only 7 minutes, but you've seen paintings like this. What is the fingers doing? You see these old art pictures, beautifully done. What is this? What is this? Looking upwards. How many pictures you've seen like that? If you go to those various libraries and see, there's all there. But they can't explain it. And maybe if it was explained, it got rubbed out somehow. See? But you don't need both. It's much more sufficient, expedient to just want to take the right hand of God. The mistake is two. The correct is the right hand. In the old days when they wrote the Bible, they had to put little bits and pieces in so that it would fool the authorities. Because if it was known, everything would be changing around. I'm living in America today, so I can speak about it without having my head chopped off. Because truth is the thing that evil people hate. Really, really hate. So expect to be hated more. And enjoy.
Oh, goody.
You got it? See? New color on your face. You're understanding me, aren't you? Don't resent the pain. Don't get upset with your pain. That will help you a lot.
I saw something today.
What?
Over the years, I've told you every little dark thing that I've ever done. But sitting here, I saw something about him. Do you have time now, or maybe I'll wait till next week and tell you that?
No, we got time.
When I was a very spoiled child and adult by my parents.
I thought your family beat you.
They did, but they made up for it in other ways. All the time, all the time.
Why didn't you
I was
mention
still spoiled with what they had. You know, I did not know how to be a good wife, a homemaker, because I just never was taught. Everything was done for me.
So you're emboldening him, and you're still emboldening him.
So
I've been telling you that, haven't I?
Say that again?
I said don't embolden him.
So because I did not do the right thing, he went looking for it elsewhere. I can't put the blame all on this girl either. He shouldn't have, we should have worked it out somehow, but I wasn't prepared.
So what kind of wife were you?
I didn't do much for him.
What do you mean do much?
Keeping a house. I wanted everything done for me.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying, being spoiled as a child and an adult.
Yes, but it's also typically female.
Yeah.
It's typically female.
Yeah. So, and what he ended up with this other girl was she did all those things correctly, and now I think that has something to do with my taking care of him now, because I didn't do it then.
Well, you can make up for old system.
Yeah.
You could live happily ever after. Question, do you ever get angry with your situation?
No.
Not?
No.
Good. You'll get better. There's a chance for you. God can cure anything. That's the truth.
Yep.
Just be patient. Watch your little irritations. Understand that what you got is what you deserve. Excuse me putting it that way. Or what is necessary for him to come to the light. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
There's always has to be some suffering, doesn't it?
Even the pain,
But suffering is good for you. Suffering is good for you. Don't avoid it.
Sends you to higher. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everybody who tries to make me suffer, suffers. It makes me better. Mm-hmm. It's a strange thing, isn't it? I'm surviving God knows how many sicknesses and diseases. I mean, I think the government has about $2 or $3 million spent on me. That's nice. I get my own back. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've seen it. Good?
Are you talking to me? Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Good. Come next Sunday? See if you can, see if you can find somebody that has a problem that they couldn't. You do a lot of good if you practice what you preach, and see that people sees this quality in you changing, not just an ordinary person. Oh, come and look at this guy. No, it has to have that quality. I see you got a problem, then you can explain to him, that person, a little bit because you know something about that. How did you know that? Well, I go Sunday mornings here, and so that much I know. Maybe you would like to get the rest of it. Something like that. Have a good day. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Masters.